completion of this session, we start solvation of the questions. So multiple choice questions are there. Level 1, level 2, level 3 and level 4 questions are there. We try in this live session, approximately there are 75 to 100 questions are there. We solve that questions in the live session every day. So 9 to 10, 1 hour session. So maybe 25 questions, 30 or 40 questions in one session. So from after the completion of this topic, means not only this topic, every topic, after completion of every topic, what we discuss in that on the topic, so same questions, but level 1, level 2, level 3. So all the patterns, whatever the pattern of questions are coming in the examinations, like NEET, MSET, MSc entrance, in the recruitment of JL, DL. JL means junior lecturers, and degree college lecturers posts are there in the Gurukulas. So whatever the examinations, so whatever the question pattern they are following, that type of questions, level 1, level 2, level 3 and level 4 questions we discuss after the completion of every topic. Okay. So here digestion of fats. First, in the duodenum, fats gets emulsified fats. Fats converted into emulsified fats by bile juice. We already discussed about the bile juice. Bile juice is without enzymes. That's why what bile juice function in the digestive system is only one function, that is the large fat molecules, whatever the large fat molecules are present. So this is the large fat molecule, they convert it into small fat molecules. So here fat only. So totally they are fat. Here also fat. This is not the digestion. Fat molecules converted into fat only, but sizes is different. After emulsification, these emulsified fats converted into triglycerides by lipase enzyme. And these triglycerides further converted into diglycerides. So the same enzyme, same lipase, single enzyme lipase. For digestion of fats, single enzyme lipase. And after formation of diglycerides, lastly converted into monoglycerides, same enzyme, lipase enzyme, and lastly these monoglycerides converted into same enzyme, lipase, fatty acids and glycerol. So this is the digestion of fats in the small intestine. So lastly they produce fatty acids. And glycerol. So these are the end products. The end products of digestion of fats in the digestive system of human beings, those are fatty acids and glycerol. So this is about the digestion of fats. So this is starting in the small intestine and ends in the small intestine. So mostly from the duodenum it starts digestion. So in the duodenum, fats gets emulsified after jejunum and reaching the ileum. So slowly, lastly, fatty acids and glycerol were created in the ileum. So this is about the digestion of fats. And last topic in here, digestion of nucleic acids. Digestion of nucleic acids. how these nucleic acids enters into the food material. So every living organism made up of cell. So digestion of the cell means the inner portion of the cell contents, the cytoplasm, Golgi complex, nucleus also comes outside, and that nucleus from the maybe microbes, maybe the plant cells, maybe the animal cells. So those nucleus, whatever the nucleus comes outside in the small intestine, in the stomach area, and those nucleus, okay, nucleus containing nucleic acids. Nucleus contains nucleic acid. This is the cell, and suppose this is nucleus, cell and nucleus. Nucleus. In the nucleus, this is nucleus. Suppose nucleus, there is a DNA. Some of the prokaryotes are virus. They also contain RNA as a nucleic material. So DNA and RNA, so DNA and RNA called nucleic acids. They present in the nucleus. In our body, RNA present in the cytoplasm, but some of the virus or prokaryotes, they also contain RNA as a genetic material or nucleic material. That's why DNA and RNA are known as nucleic acids. The acids present in the nucleus. Are they acids? Yes. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Here RNA, ribonucleic acid. So they are acids. So to break these nucleic acids, we require an enzyme that is known as nucleases. Nucleases are the enzymes that breaks the DNA and RNA or nucleus. So the enzymes breaks the nucleic acids are known as nucleases. After nucleases, we get nucleotides. To digest nucleotides, we require another enzyme that is called nucleotidase. Okay, and the third one, after the digestion of the nucleotides, we get nucleosides. To digest these nucleosides, we require nucleosidase enzyme. So these are the enzymes we require to digest the nucleic acids. So first what happened? Nucleic acids, they converted into nucleotides. Okay, they converted into nucleotides by nucleases. Next, those nucleotides, these nucleotides then converted into nucleosides and phosphoric acid. The acid present in the DNA and RNA is known as phosphoric acid, H3PO4. So phosphoric acid comes outside, and that is known as nucleosides. And here enzyme is nucleotidase. Nucleotidases. Next, whatever the nucleosides created, they converted into nitrogen base, sugar, and sugar by the enzyme. It is known as nucleosidase. Okay, these are the reactions occurs in the nucleic acid digestion. So nucleic acids are DNA and RNA. Whatever may be, they are made up of nucleotides. So nucleotides are the building blocks of nucleic acids. So nucleotides are the building blocks of DNA and RNA, and to break these nucleotides we need nucleotidase. That is why nucleotides are converted into nucleosides and phosphoric acid, and that nucleosides then converted into nitrogen base and sugar in the presence of nucleosidase. Nucleosidase, and here sugar, the sugar, it is different in the DNA and different in the RNA. The sugar different in the DNA and different in the RNA. Anybody of you tell me what is the sugar present in the DNA and what is the sugar present in the RNA? Tell me, anybody. The sugar present in the DNA and the sugar present in the RNA. Tell me here. Okay, this completes the digestion of nucleic acid. So now what we discussed since 3 or 4 days, that is human digestive system divides into 2 broad categories, alimentary canal and digestive glands. And we also completed the physiology of digestion. In this we completed digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and lipids, and also completed the digestion of digestion in the buccal cavity, digestion in the stomach and the digestion in the small intestine. In the small intestine digestion completes. Where digestion starts in the human digestive system, digestion starts at mouth or starts in the buccal cavity. Where digestion ends in the ileum, small intestine. Where digestion is maximum takes place, where digestion maximum takes place in the human digestive system, mouth, stomach, duodenum, ileum. So in this 4 area, which is the, what is the part where the digestion is maximum? That is duodenum. That is duodenum, where the digestion is very much high in the duodenum. So we'll discuss those questions also, the multiple choice questions, MCQs we'll discuss from tomorrow onwards. Here we also completed the digestion of fats and nucleic acids. Any doubts up to now? Chat with me. Okay, any doubts? If you have any doubt, come and tell. Up to now in the human digestive system, since 4 days we are discussing this topic, human digestive system. Up to now, any doubts? Ask me. Okay. Okay, next coming to our topic is, next is the what happens in the digestion. We'll discuss summary, the summary of physiology of digestion. So the carbohydrates digestion produces 3 molecules. 1 glucose, 2 fructose, 3 galactose. Okay, and these are the simplest, these are complex. So complex food molecules, they are simple absorbable molecules. Okay, next proteins. Proteins converted into amino acids. Proteins converted into amino acids. Okay. So in the protein digestion, the intermediate compounds are the proteases, peptones, peptides, tripeptides, dipeptides, lastly amino acids. So this is a sequence: proteases, next peptones, then peptides, then the tripeptide, then the dipeptide, lastly amino acids. So ultimately the digestion of proteins produces amino acids, and lastly the digestion of lipids lipids produces, digestion of lipids produces fatty acids, fatty acid and glycerol, fatty acid and glycerol. So glycerol. So these are the major macronutrients digested in the duodenum maximum, and then they enters into the ileum for absorption. Ileum for absorption. Okay. So after this topic, we have absorption of digested food material. Absorption. Absorption of digested food. Absorption of digested food. Absorption of digested food. Here we take a small table, like we try to make a table. Here location, location, and here digestion, and here absorption, absorption. Okay, you see, this is try to make a chart or table. First location, if you take mouth, mouth. Is digestion takes place in the buccal cavity or mouth? Digestion, yes, digestion takes place. Digestion of carbohydrates. Okay, digestion of carbohydrates. Is absorption takes place in the mouth? Mouth, is absorption takes place in the mouth? Yes or no? So here digestion and absorption both are takes place in the mouth. And what absorbs in the mouth? Mouth, some drugs, water, drugs, water are absorbed from the mouth or buccal cavity also. So mouth, in the mouth digestion and absorption takes place. Second part, if we take pharynx, pharynx area, so there is no any significant absorption or digestion in the pharynx area. Esophagus, esophagus only transfers the bolus from the pharynx to the stomach only, so there is no any absorption present in the esophagus. And next, coming to most important topic here, second one, stomach. Tell me, is in the stomach digestion takes place? Yes, digestion of proteins, digestion of proteins takes place. And absorption, is absorption takes place from the stomach? Why not? Definitely. Okay, water and alcohol directly absorbed into the blood, and from the portal system they transported to the liver. So absorption also takes place. So digestion and absorption both are takes place from the stomach area. And third one, duodenum. Duodenum, yes, duodenum maximum digestion takes place. Maximum digestion takes place from the duodenum. Okay, slightly minerals, water are absorbed from the duodenum. Ileum, ileum, yes, ileum also absorption, digestion takes place in the ileum. Okay, last part of the digestion takes place, but here is the maximum, but here also takes place. And absorption, so maximum absorption takes place in the ileum. Okay, what absorption? Maximum, all whatever the digested food is there, glucose, galactose, fructose, and amino acids, all are absorbed from the ileum. Glycerol, fatty acid also absorbed from the ileum. After ileum, we have fifth one, large intestine. Large intestine, here absorption, so digestion not takes place. So digestion is absent, but absorption of the water takes place. Absorption of water takes place. rectum. Coming to the sixth one, rectum. From the rectum, yes, here also same, no digestion, no digestion, and absorption of water molecules takes place from the rectum also. So absorption takes place throughout the alimentary canal, so absorption takes place throughout the alimentary canal, from the starting with the mouth up to the rectum. Absorption takes place. Digestion starts in the mouth and ends in the ileum. So digestion ends in the ileum. Digestion is maximum in the duodenum, because the bile juice enters into the duodenum through the hepatic duct, and from the pancreatic duct, the pancreatic juice also enters into the duodenum, and the intestinal glands, they secrete the succus entericus. So succus entericus is present. So all enzymes, digestive enzymes are present in the duodenum. That is why maximum digestion takes place at duodenum, and maximum absorption takes place at ileum. Okay, and in the large intestine, digestion cannot takes place. Okay, this is about the absorption of food materials, and how these digested food. Okay, this is the location. These are the locations where digestion and absorption takes place. How absorption takes place is our topic now. How absorption takes place? How absorption takes place is our topic. Suppose take a small intestine portion. Suppose this is the duodenum or small intestine portion. Okay, and duodenum or small intestine is with intestinal villi are present. Villi. So there are villi are present. Like this. Okay, here also they are with villi. Villi are present. So villus, singular, villus, and more than one you can pronounce as villi. So here this is the absorption. We are discussing now absorption, and food, digested food coming here. Okay, what is the digested food here? Digested food, glucose, fructose, galactose, amino acids, all they enters here. And in the villus, there is a lymphatic vessel is present. Lymphatic vessel. This is the lymphatic vessel is present. Okay, our lymph vessel. This is lymph vessel. Lymph vessel is present, and the blood vessels, arteries, enters into the villi, and they convert into smallest arterioles. Okay, and venules, and here venules also present, and venules and arterioles collectively forms a capillary system, and this is the vein. So here one vein, one artery, in the middle this is capillary system also present. And now whatever the food materials are entering into the small intestine area, and they are gets absorbed into the blood or lymphatic system. And what are the food materials we have in the digested food? So digested food contains, we discussed already, glucose, fructose, okay, galactose, fructose. These are from the digestion of carbohydrates. Okay, and fourth one, amino acids, and fifth one, fatty acids, and sixth one, glycerol. Okay, so these are the digested food materials. They enters into the lumen. This is the lumen. Okay, the lumen, and the villi also provided with cells. Okay, here will green. You can use green. The epithelial cells are present on the villi. The epithelial cells are present on the villi. Okay, and if you ultra microscopically, if you observe on the epithelial cells some cilia-like structures, some cilia-like structures are present on the epithelial cells. So these are not cilia, they are cilia-like. So they are called stereocilia. And these stereocilia not for the movement of the movement. So actually flagella and cilia for movement. But here this stereocilia not for movement. They are for increasing of the absorptive surface area. So macrocilia increases absorptive surface area. So the difference between the cilia and this stereocilia is stereocilia increases the absorptive surface area. So stereocilia is for the increasing of the absorptive surface area only and not for movement. Why? Anybody of you chart and tell me why the cilia present on the intestinal mucosa, they are not for movement. Why there is no movement in the stereocilia, and what causes the movement in the flagellum and cilia? Tell me, anybody. Chart with me. Anybody? Why the stereocilia only for increasing of the absorptive surface area, not for movement? Okay, here. And how they absorb? For absorption, we have different techniques are there. And what are the techniques we discussed now? So the techniques, and here first one is simple diffusion. Second one, facilitated diffusion, also called FD. It's called facilitated diffusion, FD. And third one, active transport. And fourth one, passive transport. So here, movement of the molecules, the digested food materials, how they are enter into the bloodstream is important. Simple diffusion. Here, diffusion means movement of molecules from the high concentration to the low concentration. So here, in the lumen of the small intestine, the glucose concentration is more, or digested food concentration is very high, and that's why from the high concentration to the low concentration in the villus, the molecules enters into the bloodstream. That is known as simple diffusion. And here the diffusion is carried out by the one facility. So sodium coupled with the sodium and entering into the villus, that is called facilitated diffusion. And if for the diffusion, if it requires energy, that is known as active transport. So active transports requires energy. By using energy, if the molecules are transported, it's called active transport. Okay, without energy, if no need of ATP, without without ATP, without energy, if the molecules are transported across the membrane, that is known as passive transport. Here water is transferred by passive transport from the gut epithelium. From the gut, there is no need of any energy molecule to transport water molecules, and here some glucose molecules are transported through simple diffusion, and some from the FD, and some of the galactose, glucose and galactose from the simple diffusion, and here fructose requires FD, and sodium coupled transport takes place. So like that, here these are the absorption methods here: simple diffusion, FD, facilitated diffusion, and active transport by using ATP molecules and energy, and for passive transport without using of energy, the transport is known as passive transport. Okay, so by this here the glucose, galactose, fructose, amino acids, water, minerals, vitamins. Here passive transport minerals, ions, vitamins, water, all are passively they enters into the bloodstream. No need of any energy. Okay, and glucose, galactose by simple diffusion they enters into the bloodstream. So we discussed up to the absorption of the end products of carbohydrates, glucose, galactose, fructose, the end products of the proteins, amino acids. But what happens in the end products of lipids, glycerol and fatty acids? No, glycerol and fatty acids, they cannot transport by any means of these four. They have a special route of absorption. So how the lipids are absorbed into the gut epithelium, we'll discuss now. So absorption of fatty acids and lipids. Up to now, any doubts? Up to now, any doubts? Please raise your hand. Any doubts? Since 4 days we are discussing about the human digestive system. This is the last session. I think we complete or finish this unit, and from tomorrow onwards we do some of the practice questions, bits, MCQs. We try to do from tomorrow onwards. Approximately there are 75 to 100 questions are there. Okay, we try to solve those questions. Okay, and now if you have any doubts, raise your hand. Up to now. And here in between the villus, the gap is there. These gaps are known as crypts of Lieberkühn. These gaps are called crypts of Lieberkühn. Crypts of Lieberkühn. And this after this topic, how the digested fatty acids and glycerol are transported, we'll discuss now. Absorption of fatty acids and glycerol. Absorption of fatty acid and glycerol. Here long chain fatty acids. Long chain fatty acids cannot directly enters into the bloodstream because they are very long in structure. Okay, they are very bulky in nature. So that's why they cannot directly enters into the bloodstream. So here fatty acids and glycerols they enters into lymphatic system. They enters into lymph. From the lymph, when they reach the thoracic duct, when they reach the shoulder area, and then in the subclavian vein, they enters into the bloodstream. So first they enters into the lymph through the lymphatic vessels. So in the lymphatic system, they transported up to the shoulder area, up to the chest region. In the chest region, in the thoracic duct is there, the largest lymphatic system, the lymphatic vessel, the thoracic duct is there, left thoracic duct, and the left thoracic duct there is a subclavian vein. Okay, into the subclavian vein they enters into the bloodstream. So this is the movement of fatty acids. But how they enters into the lymph, we are discussing now, how they enters into the lymph. So fatty acids are very long chains are there. So first they converted into small droplets of fatty acids, and these small droplets of fatty acids actually these fatty acids not dissolved in water, so they convert into small droplets, and the small droplets then converted into or mixed in the water, and they are converted into micelles. And these micelles they enters into the, suppose this is the intestinal villi, this is the epithelial cells present on the intestinal villi. So the micelles they enters into the cells, epithelial cells, they enters inside the cells here. So these micelles are then covered with a protein coat. So a protein coat is present on the micelles. Okay, and now these micelles are now called chylomicrons, and these chylomicrons, so here just now we discussed about that lymph vessel enters inside the villi. So here these chylomicrons then they diffused into the lymphatic system or lymph vessels, and from these lymph vessels these chylomicrons along with the lymph they transported up to the thoracic duct, and these chylomicrons they reach the thoracic duct, they enters into the subclavian vein, and they deposit into the blood, reach the right atrium, and from the right atrium they transported to the every cell. In the cell by lipoprotein lipase, the enzyme is called lipoprotein lipase. Lipoprotein lipase enzyme is present in the cells. These lipoprotein lipase then cut these chylomicrons into two parts, that is fatty acids and here glycerol, once again in the cell cytoplasm. This is in the cell cytoplasm, this is in the absorption. So these are present in the small intestine, so they are present in the small intestine. This is a small intestine area what we discussed here. Okay, this is small intestine area. So these all the long chain fatty acids converted into small droplets, and then they convert into micelles. They enters into the villi epithelium. In the epithelium they take a protein coat around that micelles, and that protein coat micelles are called chylomicrons, and these chylomicrons diffused into the lymphatic system. So this is the lymphatic vessel. So from the lymphatic vessel they transported into the lymph, and from the lymph they reach the thoracic area. In the left thoracic duct from they enters into the subclavian vein, and from the subclavian vein they reach the every cell. In the cell cytoplasm, so here lipoprotein lipase enzyme is present. That lipoprotein lipase enzyme once again breaks that chylomicrons into fatty acids and glycerol, and then the cell utilizes those fatty acids and glycerol. So this is the transportation and absorption of these fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, This now we also completed the absorption and transportation of lipids. That's called fatty acids and glycerol. Up to now, any doubts? Please ask. Any doubts? Dharmendra Gaud. Well, sir. Thank you. So up to now, we completed maximum portion of our human digestive system up to the physiology of digestion, and absorption also completed. In the absorption, this is the absorption of fatty acids, and after fatty acids, glycerol also, they are transported through lymph, and then the cells, they once again breaks into fatty acid and glycerol. So this completes our absorption of digested food material. Next topic is the gastrointestinal hormones. What are the hormones present in the our gastrointestinal tract? Most important. Hormones also important. Next topic is gastrointestinal hormones. So many different types of hormones are there. Here we'll discuss some of the hormones. Okay, first hormone is ghrelin. Ghrelin is a hormone, ghrelin. Second one, leptin. Ghrelin, leptin. And third one, secretin. No, we discuss gastrin. Gastrin, enterogastrone, here also called GIP. The other name is gastric inhibitory peptide, GIP, the other name of enterogastrone. And fifth one, secretin, and sixth one, cholecystokinin. So these are the some of the hormones from the our gastrointestinal tract. So the hormone which increase the our hungry nature. So when the blood glucose level decreases, then a hormone is released into the bloodstream to increase the hungry nature. That hormone is known as a ghrelin hormone. So ghrelin hormone increases hungry appetite. They increase the appetite, increase the hungry nature. And after taking the food material, after the filling of the stomach bag, immediately that hormone, which hormone? Leptin hormone decreases the food taking capacity. So decreases hungry nature, decreases hungry, that is called leptin hormone. So both are antagonistic, like insulin and glucagon hormone. Yesterday we discussed. So those are also antagonistic in nature. So here ghrelin increases the appetite, hungry nature, and leptin decreases to take food and stops the eating food. So the hormone stops the eating food is known as leptin hormone. Okay. And third one, gastrin hormone from the stomach region. It increases the acidity of the stomach. So increases the HCl, and in turn it increases the food taking also, so hungry also. So gastrin hormone from the stomach, it increases the production of acidity in the stomach and increases the HCl. And enterogastrone is the opposite to the gastrin. Enterogastrone, here gastric inhibitory peptide, this is the peptide hormone. Here gastric means here HCl, so here they decreases the acidity of the stomach. They decrease the acidity of the stomach, is called enterogastrone. Secretin hormone, it activates the pancreatic acini cells, acini cells we discussed it in the last class. Acini cells in the pancreas, two types of cells are there. One is enzyme producing cells and second one is hormone producing cells. Langerhans cells produces the hormones, whereas the acini cells they release the pancreatic enzymes. So here, to release the pancreatic juice or pancreatic enzymes, the secretin hormone increases. Secretin hormone they activates the pancreatic acini cells and release the pancreatic juice. So releases pancreatic juice. They release the pancreatic juice. And last one, cholecystokinin. So the liver with gallbladder. So gallbladder with bile juice. Gallbladder is with bile juice. Gallbladder is with bile juice, and this bile juice enters into the duodenum because of the releasing of the cholecystokinin hormone. Means cholecystokinin hormone constricts the gallbladder. It constricts the gallbladder, and in turn it releases the bile juice into the duodenum. It releases the bile juice into the duodenum. So these are the some of the intestinal hormones. Ghrelin increases the hungry nature, leptin decreases the hungry nature and stops eating food, and gastrin from the stomach increases or releases the HCl, and enterogastrone antagonistic stops the acidity or stops the production of HCl, and it is also known as a gastric inhibitory protein. And fifth one, secretin, activates the pancreatic acini cells, and lastly cholecystokinin, it constricts the gallbladder to release bile juice into the duodenum. So these are the some of the intestinal hormones. Up to now, any doubts? Raise your hand. Any doubts? If you have any doubts, raise your hand. And the last topic will just within the 2 minutes we are stopping our live session. Within the 2 minutes we stop our live session. Within the 2 minutes. Within the 2 minutes we stop our live session. And please share this live session to your friends and those who need this one. Okay. And last, within 2 minutes we are going to stop our or finish the topic. Last one, whatever the deficiency diseases, deficiency or gastrointestinal diseases, deficiency diseases, also called nutritional deficiency diseases, and also combinedly we discuss about the gastrointestinal disorders, gastrointestinal diseases or disorders. Gastrointestinal disorders along with the deficiency diseases we discuss. First one is vomiting. Vomiting is reverse peristalsis, anti or reverse peristalsis. Reverse peristalsis is called vomiting in the medulla oblongata, in the medulla of the brain, there is a spot, this is known as vomiting and nausea, nausea center. This is the center is called vomiting and nausea center or NV center, nausea and vomiting center, and this center causes the antiperistaltic movement, and whatever the unwanted food enters into the stomach, they comes outside, that is called vomiting. Second one, loose motions, that is called diarrhea. Diarrhea is called loose motions. Loose motion. The stool with the water stool comes outside. Outside is called huge water loss. Huge water loss is called dehydration. Leads to dehydration. Water loss gives dehydration. It's called diarrhea. Third one, constipation. Constipation is becoming hard, hardening of fecus. Okay, fecal material, hardening of the fecus because of less water, because of taking the less water quantity. If you are taking less water, the fecus gets hard, and defecation is very tough. Defecation also very tough. That is called constipation, and stomach pain also is called constipation. Okay, and fourth and fifth we discuss that is the deficiency diseases. One is a kwashiorkor. Kwashiorkor, it is a protein deficiency. Kwashiorkor is a protein deficiency disease. Protein deficiency disease. Okay, in this disease, the proteins are absent below the skin, so wherever the proteins are not present, water enter into that area, and water filled parts looks like a puffy face. Okay, and the swollen, the forelimbs and hind limbs are looks like swollen, but not by the proteins or fats, because that is the loss of the proteins. Whatever the protein less area is there, in that gaps water enters inside, and that looks like a puffy like structure. So moon like face, the puffy face is known as a kwashiorkor symptoms. And diarrhea, water, dry hairs are very much dry, and broken hair. Okay, and the less shiny hair is present, and belly also swollen. So all these are the characters of the kwashiorkor. The first symptom is swelling of the forelimbs and hind limbs, and face also puffy in nature, because the water enters into the below the skin area, because there is no proteins. So protein deficiency. So what they have to do, they have to take the more protein food. So if you are taking only carbohydrates and fats without proteins, suppose there is no curry in the food material, there is no dal, and there is no beans, so, and there is no pulses food material, only you are taking the white rice along with some other liquids, you are not taking any curry. Okay, and you are not taking any proteins in the form of curries, so that leads to this kwashiorkor disease. Okay, and lastly, marasmus. Marasmus is the disease of both proteins and carbohydrates, calories. Okay, carbs. So if a person is not taking, a child is not taking the carbohydrates and proteins, both are absent, that person's only skin is present, ribs and bones are visible outside. So very thin persons are there, and these persons, these people, children, most probably below the 10 years of these children, their ribs are very prominent to visible outside from the skin. So if you touch the skin directly, bones are present. So there is no carbohydrates, there is no proteins in the food material. That person enters into the a disorder called deficiency disease, that is called marasmus. So these are the some of the deficiency diseases and gastrointestinal disorders. Okay, now we completed the complete portion of a human digestive system. Tomorrow onwards, we discuss about the, we saw the multiple choice questions. From tomorrow onwards, within 1 or 2 days, it takes 1 or 2 days, we complete 100 bits about this, what we discussed in this 5 days live session. So next we discuss the questions pattern and different types of questions from this human digestive system. Up to now, any doubts? And if you are able to understand the topic, okay, raise your hand and thumb impression. Okay, and tell your friends to come and join this session every day. We have 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day. We have this session. Maybe tomorrow, because of the rain in this area, so maybe tomorrow is not possible. So if there is no rain, okay, I will continue 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. okay, and share and subscribe my channel. My channel name is Zoology Online Guru. We also have our own app, Kumar Institute of Zoology, and that also you can download from the Android mobile and go through the videos, and from the Telegram channel. So we also have same Kumar Institute of Zoology Telegram channel, and there we can you can get a number of PDFs are there. You can download and read those PDFs. Okay. Now we stop here. Okay. Thanks for watching. Okay. Good night. Take care. Bye bye.